Right, so like I promised in the last video, we're going to have some exciting things that we're going to add to the bar, and so we've done that today. So we're going to show you basically it already done, and then we're going to show you how to make it. Right, so I want to show you a couple of the accessories that we've added to the bar. We've used galvanized pipe here. So if you look at this particular little statue here, some people call it the meditator, some people call it the thinker. It's totally up to you what you want to call it. But we painted this with our Cameo A-Shack paint here. It was galvanized fittings that we put together, and we basically made a lamp out of that. And we'll show you at the end of the video what it looks like in the night. So in this side over here, we've got our little wine pourer here that we also made out of galvanized fittings and a brass tap. And over here, we've got little gears that were given to us by a friend of mine. We basically painted that with that Cameo paint, and we painted our super wood here with the Cameo paint again. At the bottom of the bar, we've added a footrest that was made out of galvanized fittings, and we painted that with our Cameo copper paint there. If you look to the back of the bar now, you'll see that we have all our pourers. So we've got our whiskey and our rum and our gin, and basically these are all pourers that we're going to show you how to make. As well as if you look to the top here, we have nice lights that we've made here, solar lights that we basically put into our top part of the bar, and we've added some commercial stuff, obviously being a couple of little miniatures, as well as in the front of the counter that was bought. But we're going to show you how to make the products that we added to the bar, and we're going to show you that now step by step. Right, so we've got a whole series of different galvanized fittings here and tap. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to assemble the pourer, which is basically at the back of us, and when we finish it'll look like this. So that's what we're aiming to do in this video. So very important before you get started is to use some kind of bacteria cleaning liquid. We've chosen to use the Sanigel from Clean It. It's a really great product. It's very antibacterial, and that's what you need to clean these fittings with. That is super important because the last thing you want to do is you put your expensive bottle of wine or booze inside the holder and you've got bacteria in the pipes. So it's very important to clean all the fittings. So I'm going to go through the different fittings that you'll need. So this particular fitting over here is your 1/2-inch standpipe holder, and then you've got your running nipple here. This is a 1/2-inch T, galvanized. Then we've got just a nipple over here. Then we've got a 1/2-inch to 3/4 reducer, and then a 1/2-inch to 3/4 female reducer. We've chosen to use a plastic tap, but you can use a brass tap or a plastic tap, whatever your preference is. We've got another running nipple over here, another 1/2-inch to 3/4 reducer, and then we've got 3/4 to 1 inch on the top here. That's very important because the bottle doesn't fit into any other fitting, so that's why we're using that particular thing. And then I've chosen to use a wine pourer. A lot of the videos on the internet, they say to use a Coca-Cola cork. I used that, and the problem being is you didn't get constant flow coming through your bottle, and you had a bit of problems with air bubbles. So I'm just using a wine pourer, a lot easier than trying to drill holes into Coca-Cola corks and all kinds of things. And not all the bottles fit the Coca-Cola cork. So we're going to show you how to assemble this. It's very important to use plumber's tape on every fitting before you turn it in. But for video purposes, for us to show it to you nice and fast, I'm just going to show you the assembly now without the plumber's tape. But on every fitting, please wrap plumber's tape around the engorged part over here so that you can assemble it together. And you're going to have to be using a shifting spanner or a bobby iron to make sure that everything is airtight. You don't want any leaks, especially after you've painted it, because if you do have any leaks and then you try and tighten it, you will break the paint off. So it's very important to make sure you're airtight. Anyway, so we're going to take our standpipe, put our running nipple in there, turn that in there. Then we're going to take our T, turn that in there. Right, then we're going to take the small nipple, put the small nipple in there. Then we're going to take our reducer, turn our reducer into there. And then we've got our female reducer here. We're going to put in there. Sometimes you just can't get it to turn on nicely. Make sure that everything can get hand turned on, because then it makes the tightening a lot easier. And then we're going to put our plastic tap on here. Okay, I'm just making sure I come a little bit more straighter. So basically we're at that particular stage. Then we're going to put our running nipple in the top here. We're going to put our reducer on the top there. The reason why I've used so many fittings here is to give that nice sort of rustic, sort of engineering look. And the more fittings you got, the more aesthetically pleasing it is. So we're going to basically put that on the top, and then we're going to put our pourer in here. Oops, pourer that way. And that just pushes in like that. And then from there, we're going to take our bottle and we're going to put it on the top. And basically, you've got your booze pourer there. Nice and simple, really easy to do, and it really looks really cool. Now you can say that I've got Captain Morgan or whatever particular booze on tap, and that's really exciting for your guests when they come and visit you. So that's what it's going to look like finished, like I said in the front of the video. The last thing that we need to do now is paint it. And we're going to be using a special paint because it's not so easy to paint galvanized fittings or plastic with any paint, especially because you've got to use so many different primers just so that you can get the paint adhering. But we're going to be using our Cameo craft painter from A-Shack, and it comes in a wide variety of colors. Obviously the metallic color has been very popular for this particular application. Just bear in mind that metallic colors, no matter what the maker paint, does take time to coat. So sometimes you have to do 1, 2, or maybe even 3 coats, depending on the metallic paint that you take. It's got nothing to do with the paint. Paint's really great, really awesome, Ginger Ninja seal of approval product, but they do take time to cover metallic paints. So we're just going to be using a normal little craft brush here, and I'm not going to be painting the whole thing in the video because that takes a tremendous amount of time for me to show you that. But we're going to be showing you 1 or 2 little fittings that we are just going to paint with it. So basically you dip it in the Cameo paint here. Make sure that you've got it nice all over your brush, and look how quick, especially the copper. I chose the copper when I done this particular application. It seems to cover on the galvanized really beautiful, and look how nice and quick that actually covers my fitting. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint that whole item, and basically when we're finished it'll look like our wine pourer there. But I'm going to just show you on plastic here. You see how nice it covers onto plastic. Plastic is not the easiest thing to cover with any paint, and look how nice and quick the paint just adheres to those surfaces. And that basically concludes our little wine pourer, come booze pourer, come whatever you want to call it. And what's really nice is at Bedford View Build It, our guys can cut you these boards, just like I got these boards cut to my size, what I wanted. And then it was just a matter of me going ahead and painting the board and mounting with some bolts and washers, just to give that authentic, rustic, bar-looking, mechanical look. And so the next one I'm going to show you is how to do a light fitting. So over here you'll see these are the lights here. We put solar lights in here, which my solar little panel is on the top of the roof, and then when it's dark these light up beautifully in the thing. We picked richly here to make our lights, but you can make any particular bottle that you like, whatever your preference is, and we're going to show you how to assemble that. Right, so now I've assembled what we're going to do to make a solar light. So basically over here in the back here, that's our completed arrangement of lights here. Like I say, you can use whatever bottle you prefer, whatever make. We picked Richley here to make that because we like the sort of the piratey look. But you can, it's your preference on what bottle you want to use. So we've got a solar panel over here. You can buy them in any little shop. They basically got the little fairy lights on the end of it, and you've got your little solar panel. So this assembly, you'll need a standpipe holder. You'll need a 150mm standpipe. You'll need an elbow, 1/2 inch. You do get the one with the male on the front of it, which I used in this particular application. But because I'm out of fittings here, because I use so much on my bar, you can just use, I'm just using a running nipple. But like I say, you do get the male version on the end of that. And then we got our 1/2 inch to 3/4 reducer and our 3/4 to 1 inch holder. So this one's a little more complicated, even though it's easier than the last one I showed you, because it's very important to pass your fairy lights through all the fittings before you start. Otherwise, when it comes to the elbow, you're really going to battle to try and get that fairy light going right through the configuration. So basically, it's a matter of making sure that your lights are nice and straight. You can clearly see that it's Christmas time because I'm trying to tangle fairy lights to suit my purposes. But once you get the end of this, the video will be finished. Now that I've finally untangled all these little bulbs, that was a mission on its own. The next step is to basically pass through all the little fairy lights through each fitting. So this is quite labor intensive. Take your time because these little fairy lights are quite fragile and they can break on the wiring. So you want to make sure that you do that as gently and as efficiently as possible. I'm not going to pass them all through just for purposes of the video, but in this particular case you need to pass them all through to do this application. So I'll pass through the standpipe, and then I'm going to go down through my little 150mm standpipe over here. And sometimes you're lucky and you actually catch the bulb. If you're not lucky, you need to get something like a little gadget to get down that pipe, maybe a little piece of wire to hook that wire through. In this case, really unlucky, but I finally got it. And then once the first one comes out, it's a lot easier. So you just keep on pushing them through, trying to get those guys to say hello. Alrighty. So I'm just going to stop there and show you this part. Okay, so then once you've got that on there, you'll put your standpipe on. So all the lights now, for video's sake, has passed through. And then you're going to go through your little elbow. These lights can be tricky, and therefore it's quite hard for me to show you, because like I say, it takes me a bit of time to actually get each little bulb through without breaking those bulbs. But once you got a little hang of it, especially in the elbow, they tend to stick to the wall of the galvanized. Okay. That, so then you put your elbow on, so we're at that particular stage now, and then you're going to pass through your running nipple. This is a nice easy one because it's straight and short, so it goes through nice and quick. Put your running nipple on, and then your reducer. It's not such a difficult one either. And that's going to turn on there. And then we're going to put on our last part. That's going to screw on there. And then basically almost got your lamp, and the last part of it to do is obviously you'll need a bottle. In this particular part of the project, we've got different glues from Alkaline here. So they're epoxy rapid setting glues. They set in 8 minutes and they're really great. These products are phenomenal because normally epoxies take 2 to 3 hours to cure. This sets in 8 minutes, and really that's just the joy of using this particular epoxy from Alkaline. I'd also like to give this product my Ginger Ninja seal of approval. I've used different ones. You get white epoxy, you get clear epoxy, you get black, and you also get the putties. They're all phenomenal products. So basically what really happens with an epoxy is you've got two glues, you mix them together, and don't use your fingers, make sure you use a glove, or make sure you use a little applicator. I use a toothpick, which is a bit ironic, but it works like a bomb. And you're basically going to go on that surface of that bottle cork there with the glue. And then from there, you'll put all your lights. In my case, I've only got 3 here, but you'll have about 100 that have come through. And that'll be stuck onto the bottle. And then you just let that set for leave it for half an hour, even though the glue does say 8 minutes, best to leave it for half an hour, make sure it's properly cured. And then from there, it's a matter of mounting your bolts against the wood like we've done over here, and putting your solar panel in a place where there is sun. I was lucky that this particular bar was designed under a carport, so I've just threaded through my wires, and they're on top of the roof, my little solar panels. And that's basically how you make a solar powered light. So then basically all that's required is for you to now use your Cameo paint, paint your fitting. It's already attached to your bottle because, like I explained it, you glued the lid and you put it on the top there. So you're going to go ahead now and paint with your Cameo paint from A-Shack, and then from there it's important I like to use this particular product called Spray Seal from A-Shack. What's really lovely about it is it coats the paint, makes it water resistant. It's not the purposes of this product, but it's normally used on top of walls to stop water coming through, penetrating spray. But I really like it because unlike varnishes and that type of thing, it doesn't tend to go yellow, and it really gives that nice coating over it and preserves that paint from a weather point of view. So it's important to do that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like I say, once you've done the particular light or you've done the pourer, you want to go to more advanced things like your wine pourers over here and your thinker over here. It really is great because you get to relive your childhood. For those guys that like playing with Lego when they were little, well, this is really up your creek. It's really great. I had a super fun with it, and it doesn't necessarily mean that in this particular case we've done all the accessories for a bar, but you could do things for kids' room. There is really a number of different designs that you can do for different rooms. But in this particular case, we chose to do a bar, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And please look out for us for the next episode. Thank you very much.